Hey there drone fans, Rick here again from Drone Valley. I'm back with another vlog to try and keep you guys updated on all the happenings around drones and other high-tech gear. Now if you look around me, you can probably tell that the leaves are changing color, which means here in the Northeast we're heading into fall. And that means that winter can't be far behind and that white stuff's going to start falling from the sky. So I plan on flying an awful lot over these next couple of weeks, and I recommend you do the same because winter can be a long time and you're going to get really itchy to get that drone up. So charge up those batteries, get out there and have some fun before the winter sets in. I also want to remind you that your LiPo batteries need some attention throughout the winter. So when you're done for the season and you pack everything up and slide it underneath your desk or wherever you put your drone away for the winter, make sure you go there and visit that drone every couple of weeks just to make sure you can get those batteries charged up a little bit and they don't go completely dead on you, because there's nothing worse than springtime hitting and you get a beautiful day, you run downstairs to get your drone out of the case and you find out 3 of your batteries are dead. So just set a reminder on your phone or whatever to be down there every couple of weeks to trickle charge those batteries up to 25 or 30% just to keep them healthy. All right, so I've got a lot of stuff to talk about today, and I'll start off with a channel update because I like to keep you guys sort of in the know on what's going on with Drone Valley. Now, I talked last time about the newsletter. We put one newsletter out in the beginning of September, I think middle of September, and I've got another one coming sort of around Halloween. And that newsletter is going to be packed with all kinds of coupons and savings, and if you need accessories, there'll be a lot of stuff on sale there, especially if you're flying a Phantom 4 product. We've got a lot of really good Phantom 4 stuff that'll be in that newsletter. I also wanted to talk about gear because I know a lot of you have asked me, you know, when are you going to put some gear up that's Drone Valley branded? And I mentioned in the last vlog that I don't like to really do that. I was kind of holding off on it because I'm not trying to promote the channel like crazy, but so many people have asked about it that I finally gave in, and we've designed 3 items to start with. We've got a mug, a hat, and a t-shirt. There'll be other stuff coming, and those should be live on the YouTube channel probably, I don't know, next week sometime. They're all finished. We're just waiting for things to get sorted out in the back end. So if you're into that kind of thing and you want to get a hat or a mug or a t-shirt, we'll have those available very soon. So thanks an awful lot for supporting the channel. Now, I do want to talk about some of the products we've been working on because last time I'd mentioned we're starting to design a lot of electronics ourselves. We have a team here of engineers that work on things, and when we find a problem in the field, when we're flying or using some other high-tech gear, we like to try and solve it ourselves. Now, if I find a product out there that'll solve the problem, we'll just bring it in and probably offer it on the Drone Valley website. But every now and then we'll find problems that aren't really being solved by people out there in the field. We sit down, we put the engineering team on it, and they design a product that comes out as a Drone Valley branded product. So there are 2 products that you're going to see this month, one of which I've already talked about, and that's the Smart Controller Audio Adapter. So it's basically an adapter that is a USB-C connection on one end. The other end has got 2 3.5mm plugs. One is for a microphone, one's for a headphone. You plug this into the bottom of your DJI Smart Controller, and it gives you the ability to use an external microphone like a lapel mic here. You can plug into that when you record audio over the videos that you're actually recording from the drone. So it's a great way to narrate your videos, and I've had a lot of people ask me about it. Actually, Larry started this whole thing. He's a friend of the channel. He's been around a long time, and he said, gee, I want to record audio over my videos. Can you help me with that? So we designed this product and came out with it. This is up on the website. Another product you're going to see this month, which I'm really proud of, is what we're calling a Hydra Cable. Now, I kind of talked about it a little bit in the last clip, but it's ready to go. It'll be launched this weekend, actually. And what it does basically is take a standard USB-A connection on this end and turn it into 3 separate charging heads on the other end. So essentially, with one cable, you can charge an Apple, a micro USB, and a USB-C product at the same time. So it's a really clever cable that allows you to plug this in, charge 3 devices simultaneously from a single port on a charger. And it's a really neat little product. So it's about, I guess, 3 feet long. And again, it's got a mix of Apple, micro USB, and USB-C on there. And for me, this is perfect because I travel a lot. And when I go to bed at the hotel, I'll plug this thing in, plug in my controller, my phone, and maybe my smart controller, and charge those things overnight. So when I wake up, they're all ready to go. That'll be up on the website soon. So check that this week and we'll have it listed. All right, so enough about the promotional stuff. Now let's get into some of the tech. There's been a couple of interesting announcements since I talked to you last. A new company, not a new company, but their 2nd generation of product came out, the Skydio 2. Now, I've talked about Skydio on the channel before. Their whole claim to fame is they're building what I'll call autonomous drones that have 6 cameras in this case, 6 cameras around the outside that is spatially aware of its environment. So it's a drone that actually knows where the trees are, where the rocks are, where the ground is, all the obstacles that are in that environment. And it finds its way through those obstacles to follow an object. So you can zero in on somebody on a bicycle or in a car or walking, and it'll follow that person and navigate this incredibly complex environment. Now, a lot of people are really jazzed about this. I did an initial clip on it. I've actually got one ordered. I can't wait to get my hands on it and test it. So Skydio, if you're listening, kind of rush that to me because I'd love to get that thing up in the air and really test it. And I know there was a lot of kind of questions and concerns out there about how does it compare to the Mavic 2? How does it compare to other drones? And I think what I've really kind of settled on is that there really is a new class of drone being born here. So that Skydio drone, even though you can fly it like a regular drone, it isn't really built to do that. It's built more for action camera people that are out on bikes or mountain climbing or hiking or whatever, that just want to put a drone up in the air, do their thing, and let that drone follow them and capture some great footage. So what I've come down to is I think there are two classes of drones we're seeing. The ones we've had forever have been what I'll call flyer drones, where you've got a joystick and a controller and you fly that drone. And it's got crash avoidance, and some of the DJI products like the new Mavic 2s and even the Mavic Air were phenomenal with that APAS system to sort of navigate between trees and everything. So it would do a real good job following you. But this new class of drones that Skydio 2 represents is what I'll call follower drones. And really what they're built to do, all the horsepower inside that drone is built to be smart enough to do two things really well, like I said in the last clip, to avoid things and to find holes to follow you. So it's really built to sort of know where things are around it, avoid those obstacles, and be able to follow you through a very complex environment. So I can't wait to get my hands on this. I also think that this is a really big moment for drones. I believe that this follower class of drones is going to spawn a ton of innovation with other companies. And I guarantee you that DJI is hard at work on a drone right now that I'm sure they're going to release really soon, maybe a Mavic 3 that's got a ton of sensors around the outside of it, and it'll do probably what the Skydio drone does today, but it'll be a Mavic product. So expect that space to heat up tremendously, but I still think that going forward, we're going to have two classes of drones. We'll have the flyer drones and the follower drones, and it'll be really interesting to see what happens on both sides. But I'm rooting for Skydio because, as I said before, I'm a big fan of the underdog. Any competition in this space is a really good thing for all of us because it drives everybody to innovate and it lowers prices and it keeps people competitive. So I'm a big fan of competition out there. So good on you guys at Skydio. The next interesting and somewhat mysterious thing I'd like to talk about was an email that showed up in my inbox this morning from DJI letting me know they've got some big announcement coming on October 30th. Now, I'm sure a lot of you got the same email, and what I love so much about their marketing people, they're brilliant, is that they give you just enough information to keep you interested, but not really tell you anything. So I love looking at those announcements and going, what could that be? Now, I think they tipped their hand a little bit with this one because the tagline is, fly as you are. So we all know it's going to be something airborne, which is a really big deal because DJI hasn't released anything since the Mavic 2, and that was a long time ago. So whatever they release is going to be a big deal. And I know there's a lot of people out there speculating about what it could be, what are they working on. I'm not going to waste any time trying to speculate because, quite honestly, we have about a week before the announcement. So in less than 7 days, we'll all know exactly what it is. But I will tell you, the minute it's announced, make sure you run back here to Drone Valley because we're going to do a complete overview of whatever they announce. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about the product. We'll try and compare whatever it is they're going to release with other products on the market. We do the standard rundown we do with all new products coming out because I think it's important that I take a look at whatever they've got, read through the specs, figure out what it can do, and then compare it to other stuff to let you guys know if it's worth your money or not, because drones are expensive and I want to make sure you get the best value you can at any product that's out there in the market. So we're always honest about those reviews, but I promise you once it's announced, I'll figure out what it's all about and I'll explain exactly why it may or may not be important for you to pay attention to it. So enough about that. All right, so the next topic I want to talk about is probably the most controversial topic on the channel. And I talk about it all the time on the channel, and I've got people on both sides of the fence, but I'm telling you, the two camps could not be more divided on their opinions of this particular topic, and it has to do with no-fly zones. And I know that's a politically charged environment because on the one side, people are saying, I should be able to fly my drone anywhere I want to fly it. My backyard happens to be within 5 miles of an airport. How come I can't fly a drone in my backyard? Then the other side of the fence are sort of understanding what the NFZs are about and sort of protecting the environments that those NFZs are designed to protect. So fundamentally what an NFZ does is the FAA decides this airspace should not be available for drones. And it could be over a military facility, a prison, could be a sensitive nuclear power plant or an electrical grid. There's a reason the FAA approved that as a no-fly zone, which means technically there's an electronic fence in the sky that should stop a drone from flying in there. Now, not every manufacturer respects NFZs. So quite honestly, I fly a lot of DJI products. I like DJI a lot. They were one of the first ones to actually build in electronic NFZs on their drones. I think that's a really good thing because me personally, I can't tell in the sky if there's an electronic fence somewhere. I'm flying at this lake today. The naval airspace is that way. I'm close to it, but I'm not within the boundary of it. But if I fly my drone a little far that way, maybe I'm going to violate that boundary. So the fact that I know there's an NFZ up there, my drone lets me know, hey, you're entering an NFZ zone, stop, you can't fly there. So for me, I think it's a safeguard to kind of keep me from sort of drifting into areas I shouldn't fly. I totally understand the liberty thing. I get that where, you know, it's our country, it's our backyard, we should be able to fly anywhere we want in our backyard, but that's the reason it's so divided is that politics is a complicated game, right? And we're in a very political environment right now, and I won't get into that, but I understand completely balancing freedom with safety is a difficult thing, and I think the FAA has done a great job. Now, having said that, all the other manufacturers that don't do NFZs today, don't have the digital boundaries in that prevent you from flying into those areas, I think eventually they're going to have to adopt that, because we're in sort of a very tumultuous time right now with drones where the public's not quite sure what they think of them. Some people are afraid of them. Some people hate them. They don't want them in their town. You've got town councils banning them on beaches and parks and things. Again, I think, I don't mean to sound bad here, but I think out of ignorance. I don't mean they're ignorant. I mean, they just don't understand what drones do and how safe they are and how much fun they are to fly. And really, quite honestly, how I pay taxes for a park just like everybody else. I should be able to enjoy that park with my drone as long as I'm not annoying other people. But back to the NFZ stuff. So the FAA has said, we have the authority for the skies. We have control over anything that flies from the ground to the heavens, and we've decided these airspaces are restricted. Nobody should fly there. Now, they're trusting that most flyers won't fly there, but I love the fact that some manufacturers are building in NFZs so I can't inadvertently fly there, or new flyers that don't really understand what those are about can't fly there and cause kind of issues. I think that's good for all of us because it protects those facilities. It makes drones less of a threat to those facilities. And I think overall, people that are flying responsibly have really no need to fly over that military base or fly near that airport. I think it's a good thing. So I know it's controversial. All I'm saying is that I think no matter how you feel about it today, I think the future is going to be NFZs on everything. And I really think that there'll come a day where a drone won't be able to lift off and probably fly above 25 or 50 feet if it doesn't have some kind of digital boundary built in based on an NFZ. So I think, again, DJI being out ahead of the pack really is in a lead position to sort of say what should be done in that space. And I know they're working with FAA and they're working with different organizations, state and local and federal, and I think that's a good thing. So for me personally, I think NFZs are good. I think that, you know, they should be in all the drones that are out there, and I know I'm going to get a lot of hate mail for this, but I'm a responsible flyer, and I think that I don't need to fly in those areas. If the FAA has deemed those as areas I shouldn't be flying in, I just don't fly there, and not knowing that, I could inadvertently get there, so NFZs prevent that. So enough about that, but drop your comments below. I know I'll get both sides of the argument there, but I still think eventually everybody's going to have an NFZ built into their quads, and I think the FAA may mandate that down the road. So we'll have to see how that all turns out. All right, so the last thing I want to talk about is some of the upcoming clips that I've been working on for the last couple of weeks, and these are kind of cool clips. So I've got underwater cases coming for the Osmo Pocket and the Osmo Action, so if you're interested in either one of those, I've got full clips we're developing on that. I've got a ton of clips coming up on Freewell filter kits. Now, Freewell's a company who builds really nice filter kits for your drone, for your action cameras, for your Osmo Pocket, things like that, and I've got a bunch of kits that we're going to be reviewing. I've been working on it over the last couple of weeks, and I'll talk about that. And then there's another clip that I'm working on that I think you're going to get a kick out of. I'm comparing a Mavic Pro with the Mavic 2 because I had a lot of questions about what drone should I buy. I've got about, $1,000, $1,500 to spend. Should I really go for the Mavic 2, or is there another drone I can fly that's pretty close? So what this clip's going to do is compare the Mavic Pro Platinum with the Mavic 2, and I'll give you my opinion of why I think one or the other is a better buy for you if you're buying a drone right now for Christmas. So stay tuned for those clips. They're coming up. And that was pretty much all I had for today. So I hope you guys are getting value out of these vlogs. They're kind of free form where I'm talking about things that have happened in the last 2 weeks and interesting things that have happened in the space. Oh, one thing I do want to mention, I almost forgot this. There are 2 bills out there. I mentioned one of them last time on the drone channel, and I'm going to talk about the other one just briefly now. But the one bill is the Drone Safety Act, which is a national federal bill that's going to prevent any federal agency from using drones for public safety if they're using federal money that are built in China. And I talked about that a little bit of time on the last clip, and I am so frustrated that we've got bureaucrats deciding that drones that save lives are going to be kept out of the hands of first responders that are out there doing their job and keeping you and me safe just because they're built in China. And I'm doing a whole series of clips on this to explain how ridiculous it is based on the technology's inability to do what they think it can do, send details back to China and spy on us and all the rest of that. But more importantly, where do we lose our common sense? If I can put something up in the sky, any tool that would save a life, I put it up in the air and save that life. That's my opinion. So anyway, I'll talk about that more in another set of clips. But there's another bill that's coming out now, which I think is pure insanity, and it hasn't gotten out of committee yet, but the bill basically says that the FAA loses its ability to regulate drone flyers under 200 feet. So what this bill wants to do is turn that purview under 200 feet back to the states and back to local authorities. Now imagine the nightmare that's going to create where you've got this patchwork now of New Jersey, this park you can fly, but if you go 10 feet over here, you can't fly in that park, and I have to keep track of all that stuff. It's insanity. The FAA is the federally mandated agency that has responsibility for anything that flies, again, from the grounds to the heavens. They should be the authority, and I think the state should back off and just say, look, if they've made an FAA and NFZ no-fly zone, then we're going to respect that. Elsewhere, you can fly anywhere in the state. Now, I'm lucky that in New Jersey, that's the exact approach they took. So in New Jersey, we used to have this patchwork of local laws that said you couldn't fly here, you could fly there. And the governor came out and said, you know what, this is too confusing. We can't monitor it, we can't police it. We're rescinding all the local bans. The only bans that exist in New Jersey are the FAA bans that are set up as NFZs, which means I can go pretty much anywhere to fly in New Jersey, put a drone up safely and fly responsibly and not have to worry about it. That's the way it should be in my opinion. So I'll do a clip on that one as well, and we'll take it from there. So anyway, I'm rambling here a little bit. I'm sorry I got excited about that last part, but I really appreciate you guys watching, and I hope you're finding value in these clips. I love putting them together and talking about this hobby and other high-tech gear, so I hope you guys do too. I really appreciate the support. You guys have grown the subscriber count tremendously over the last couple of months. Has been a really good year for us, and I want you to know that I definitely appreciate it. So thanks for everything, and until next time, happy flying.